Good afternoon, YouTube. How you guys doing today? So, honey, Diddy is the number one trending topic right now. We are in day four of the Cassie uh, uh of Cassie being on the witness stand. We've heard a lot of things, a lot of disturbing things, a lot of very interesting things that he allegedly had going on, and so it got me to thinking, why would a man that has so much wants to do the things that he allegedly is being accused of, right? So it made me think that, the answer to these things are possibly in his past, like mainly his childhood, right? So I took a brief deep dive into who was Diddy as a child, right? So what I've learned was Diddy was the son of Melvin and Janice. Melvin was gunned down in Harlem where they lived. It is said that he was a heroin dealer as well as a prostitute. It is said that he may have been gunned down because he had started snitching on people because he didn't want to go to jail. So that left Janice a single mom. Janice wanted a better life for her children, especially her son, and Janet subsequently moved to Mount Vernon. Now people say that Mount Vernon at that time was, not any like not really not there wasn't a big difference between Mount Vernon and Harlem, right? So she moved there anyway. They said that she worked hard to raise her children. Allegedly, at one point in time, um, people speculated that Janice was Melvin, the father's um, bottom B, if you will. I think that's how they explain it these days. So that's how I'm explaining it, right? So anyway, she moved to Mount Vernon. Where it gets interesting is that Janice worked hard. Janice got Diddy into a Catholic school. You may have not, a lot of people may have not known this, but he went to a Catholic all boys school in Mount Vernon. Diddy was even a altar boy for a pretty good period of time. When he attended the school, I personally did not know that Diddy had went to an all boys Catholic school, which says a lot. And also another interesting fact is when Diddy was in school. In the all boys Catholic school, there was a scandal that was going on in the school. A couple of the preachers, a couple of, I guess you call the priests, were charged with doing very, SAing a couple of students. I couldn't find out if there was a report concerning Diddy. I know that the reports say, what I heard was the report said that there were two boys that came forward and their parents. And because of that, both of the priests, which one of them was the principal, they were both moved to other schools, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness. Now we know, years later, this had to have happened in the 80s, right? So, but we have heard, in recent years, all the allegations that have allegedly come out, via some of the priests, and what they did, some of the very, very, very harmful things that they did to children, boys and girls in these situations, allegedly. I'm gonna have to say allegedly, right? And so anyway, that scandal happened, at Mount Vernon. In particular, I was interested in that because Diddy was an altar boy, and I've heard, horrific stories when it came from coming out of the mouths of ex altar boys in the Catholic Church, right? So we've all heard these rumors, right, and these claims, should I say? So it was never. I couldn't find anything saying that Diddy was a alleged victim of any of these situations. But like I said, it got me to wondering, because childhood trauma is a powerful thing, right? And if you fast forward to some of the allegations that have been placed against Diddy, as of today, and especially during this trial, all the stuff that has come out, it got me to thinking, is this a result of what allegedly could have happened to him in this all boys Catholic school? I'm wondering, right? And so, also, Diddy grew up in poverty. Um, I think that, in my opinion, Diddy did not want to ever go back to that, harsh reality. And what would you have to ask yourself, what would cause a person to dance so hard in the synagogue of Satan, to the point to where you were willing to do anything, covet anybody? Because in my opinion, Diddy, it is a sin to covet. And I think that he coveted people's talent. I think he coveted people's youth. I think he coveted people's beauty. I also think that he was reenacting some things that may have possibly allegedly been done to him. Especially some of the things that I've heard during this trial. Especially when you think about all the allegations that have come out against him, when it comes to young boys like Usher. He was given custody of Usher when Usher was 14 years old. I've listened to a lot of Gene Deal. Gene Deal in particular told a story one time that he heard that allegedly Usher had to be rushed to the hospital because he had an injury. He had a back injury, if you know what I mean. And then after that, his mom came and took him from the what was it, Diddy's flavor camp, I think that's what he was calling it at the time. But until then, Usher had been with Diddy for about a year or something, I think they said, right? And so we've seen they're always showing video of a Kevin Hart interview that they were doing at a party. Usher was there, Kevin Hart was there, and Diddy was recalling the time when they would quote unquote, get up early and quote unquote wrestle over the cereal or whatever. I've heard an interview that Usher did on Howard Stern years ago. Howard Stern asked him if he would ever send his kids to a Diddy flavor camp, and he was like, no. Usher said that he seen things that he didn't understand. He witnessed things that he was not ready to witness. You know what I mean? And so, allegedly, right? And so, not only that, there has always been speculation when it comes to Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber seems to be going through a hard time even now. Sometimes I think it's hard to, childhood trauma, if you don't get help from it, you try to mask it with drugs and alcohol. At one point in time, Justin Bieber he went to the church. He was looking for solace in the church, a very popular church. The guy, the pastor in this very popular church that was supposed to mentor him turned out to be just really just clout chasing, in my opinion. If you that guy got put out of the church, and so I imagine Justin, he kind of became dismayed about the whole religious system or whatever, right? So his mom also pretty much left him, turned him over to the hands, allegedly, of these producers and stuff, right? They were actually, in my opinion, I've listened to some of the interviews that they did with Usher, when not Usher, but Justin Bieber, when he was a teenager. A lot of people were sexualizing, in my opinion, via the questions that they were asking him. They were sexualizing this young man when he was in his early teens, like before he was even 16 years old. That's how popular Usher was. And we've also heard things that, coupled with a lot of rumors that we have heard over the years about all these satanic rituals that they do. About, and if you want to elevate your career, at a certain point, you're going to be introduced to a lot of things. We've heard several actors, an actor of late, Terrence Howard, told a story about when he met Diddy, and he hung around with Diddy for a couple of days. um Terrence Howard started getting suspicious as to why Diddy was all of a sudden want to hang out with him. And Terrence Howard said his publicist or assistant or something like that says that Diddy wants to Diddy you, right? And he left alone. Terrence was offended by that. He said, "You don't approach a man in that manner." He was really offended by that, and he started telling his story. We heard Cat Williams on the who can forget the Cat Williams interview when he talked about being offered $50 million 4 times, but he turned down that money because he wasn't willing to relinquish his integrity or his manhood, right? And so we've heard all of these stories, but that's what happens when you dance around in the synagogue of Satan, in my opinion, right? This is just my opinion. Do these rumors have some validity to them? I absolutely think they do. In my opinion, there are all kind of satanic rituals going on when with that music, the music industry. The old people didn't call it the devil's music for nothing, in my opinion, right? And when you come from an impoverished situation like a Diddler, you would tend to feel like you would do anything you have to, um, to not go back into that situation. Not to mention that, in my opinion, the Diddler has some deep psychological issues that didn't have anything to do with poverty. I think that he, in my opinion, allegedly sold his soul a long time ago, right? Um, just the real bad aura, is behind these eyes. It's nothing good about it, right? So, but like I said, I just want to take a quick dive into Diddy's past, just trying to realize like where all of this debauchery may have stemmed for. But even though he may have allegedly had a kind of rough childhood, even traumatic childhood, that doesn't excuse anything that he's done in his adulthood, right? Because, like I said, some people are willing to sell their very souls for a little bit of fame. Fame is transient. It won't last forever, and it won't translate into your afterlife. And so I think that I am a firm believer in karma. And so maybe it is, maybe this is his karma, what's going on right now with this court case. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. I didn't want to hold you guys too long. Let me know what you Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Thanks for listening. Bye bye. Peace.